Well, you do know when the three amigos are in the house, there's a reason to celebrate, right? Welcome to our Sunday gathering, one and all. Each week, we try to deliver a little fun, certainly put a smile on your face, but to have that joy and comfort and love, knowing the reality that our lives go on after physical death. The spirit world is real. Our loved ones are still around. And so I know we have people joining us from all over the world today, but also just around you in that invisible space are your loved ones, not just for the Sunday gathering, but they keep an eye on us throughout our life and they're actively a part of it. So today on our Sunday gathering, well, you can see my background. I know it's St. Patrick's Day tomorrow for our friends in New Zealand and Australia. It is already for you today. We don't just have a St. Patrick's Day theme, though. It is a day that you can each one of us can look into our hearts and really get in touch with those people in our lives that have we've aspired to be like, or who have helped us on our journey, or people that we have admired. They can be people that are close to us, my parents in my case, but they could be someone that you've read about or words have made a difference. And so today, if you would like to join all of us really to look in your heart, and maybe there's one or two or three people that have really done it for you, really have made a difference in your life. So you're welcome to share them in our chat box if you like or not. We don't want to ever say too much because we have our medium demonstration and we want to keep the integrity of that. So that's pretty much our theme today. When I say the three amigos, anytime I'm together with Darren Wynn and Dominic Boag, we call ourselves the three amigos. We have a good time together. We're back next Sunday as well. But for today, Darren will be doing our opening prayer. I'll be doing the reading and leading you into healing. The address we'll share with all of us, Dominic first, then Darren, then myself. We'll be doing the medium demonstration with Dominic. I'll bring you some announcements, some closing words from the week for Darren, and closing prayer from Dominic. Now, our dear friend Darren is a bit under the weather. He is here with us. He doesn't have much of a voice, so we want to send him a lot of healing and a lot of love. And Darren, you do as much or as little as you like. We just are so grateful you are here. So with that, I want to welcome everybody. We're together for about 90 minutes or so. This is all being recorded. We're grateful you're here. And I'll turn it over to Darren for the opening prayer.
Thank you for that, Sandra, and a massive welcome to all of you. I had no voice yesterday, so today's a bit of an improvement, you lucky people. On the plus side, I won't get to waffle on like I normally do. I'll speak probably as little as I can. So if you'd like to join me for today's opening prayer. We come together here today united as one, as friends, brothers and sisters from across our lands. We come here together today with the same goal and intent within our hearts and our minds, to unite the two worlds together once again under that banner of We Don't Die. To our dear friends, helpers and loved ones of that world we call unseen, we unite here together in love, peace and harmony. We come together once again to hear your words and your thoughts through the minds of our workers here today, to bring us those moments of joy, healing and upliftment once again. And in coming together here today, we do so with no demands or no expectations, but we come together in a knowing and understanding that each and every one of us will be treated as an equal, and we come together here as an equal, as we know there is no prejudice within your world. And in doing so, each and every one of us can immerse ourselves in that unconditional love and that healing balm of that unseen world. And we thank you for the opportunity once again for coming together for our Sunday gathering and allowing us the opportunity to walk side by side, hand in hand. And each and every one of us does this to the best of our own ability and our own understanding. And we truly hope we can have a positive impact on all of mankind. As always, we walk into this Sunday gathering with positivity within our minds, smiles upon our faces, and love in abundance, so we can truly create that perfect meeting ground for the two worlds to come together once again. And we ask, as always, that that healing light continues to shine to all four corners of our world, to bring that joy, that love, and that happiness to all those hearts and minds that may be in need on this day. So without further ado, my friends, we welcome you here today. Amen.
Thank you so much, Darren. And I have your reading for you today. And I am going to be reading a bit about St. Patrick. I know we have friends in Ireland with us and Irish members from around the world who know a little bit about his story. But as we've seen through the course of history, that there are so many people that make a difference, even hundreds and thousands of years later. So you never know where your words and your good deeds might fall. Tomorrow we celebrate St. Patrick, a Christian missionary who lived centuries ago, who is credited with bringing Christianity to Ireland, converting a pagan society in the process. St. Patrick is also known for expelling all of the snakes from Ireland. Now, it is true that there are no snakes in Ireland, but there probably may never have been, as the island was separated from the rest of the continent at the end of the Ice Age. But as in many old pagan religions, serpent symbols were worshipped and often common. But how many of us know about St. Patrick? What we don't know is that he had the ability to heal the sick and raise the dead. Or do we know why he used the shamrock as a tool to spread Christianity across Ireland? There are numerous miracles and legends attributed to St. Patrick that were once widely known, but in modern times have fallen into obscurity. For example, one story relates how a great rush of water caused a well to overflow with such ferocity that the quickly rising water threatened the lives of those living in the area around it. Patrick took a piece of bread and, after dipping his finger in the water, made the sign of the cross on it. Then he uttered a prayer, after which the water suddenly stopped gushing forth. St. Patrick was born in Scotland to Roman parents somewhere around 379 AD. However, Patrick wasn't his given name, but one he adopted later. His birth name was Maewyn Succat. One of the earliest miracles attributed to Patrick occurred at his baptism when a blind man named Gormus arrived after having a dream that Patrick could cure him. While holding Patrick's hand, he made the sign of the cross on the ground, and suddenly a spring of fresh water erupted from the earth. Gormus washed his eyes with the water, and his sight was immediately restored. There was a time when honey was widely used for medicinal purposes, and one instant, records show that Patrick was able to turn a bowl of water into a bowl of honey to treat a woman. While in his teens, Patrick was kidnapped, taken to Ireland, and sold into slavery to a pagan chieftain. After 6 years in captivity, an angel came to him in a dream and showed him a place where gold was buried. He retrieved the gold, and some sources say he brought his freedom with it. Others say he escaped and fled back to Scotland. In either case, he became a priest and later a bishop, and eventually made his way back to Ireland and began teaching his ministry. While ministering to the pagans, he used the three-leaf shamrock to illustrate the Christian belief that the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, are one God and three divine persons. Over time, he established hundreds of churches and converted thousands to Christianity, and is today one of the patron saints of Ireland. It is recorded that Patrick resurrected the dead at least 33 times. In one case, two daughters of the King of Dublin had died, and the king, who'd heard of Patrick's miraculous abilities, sent for him. The king promised Patrick that if he could bring the girls back to life, that he would convert to Christianity. Patrick took the hands of the girls and appealed to God. Suddenly, the burial chamber was filled with light, and the girls rose from their death. The king kept his word and was baptized. One day, a thief stole a goat that belonged to Patrick and ate it. When accused, the man denied it until the sound of a bleeding goat was heard coming from the man's stomach. Then the beard of the goat suddenly grew upon the man's face. Some say that this is the origination of the word goatee. Patrick died on March 17th in the year 461. And it said that there was no darkness in Ireland for 12 days after his death. He's reportedly buried in the graveyard next to Down Cathedral, located in Downpatrick, Northern Ireland. There are those who claim some of the miracles surrounding St. Patrick are mythical, yet they can't deny they aren't mythical, yet they can't deny the immense influence he had on the Christian world, the Catholic faith, and the country of Ireland. Today, there are thousands of cemeteries and churches worldwide named after him, as well as the special day we're celebrating tomorrow, and of course, today on our Sunday gathering. St. Patrick certainly had an influence on the world, but who has had that influence on you, in your life, in your beliefs? And who would you, if you could, thank them today? As we go into our healing, I personally believe that gratitude is one of the best energy sources that those in the unseen world can use to deliver healing to where it is needed. So as the song begins to play, certainly offer that prayer of healing for those in need, for those places in the world that need it, people, places, pets, all critters on the earth deserve healing. And of course, some will come right back to you. But as we enjoy the song, if you want to take a little walk down memory lane, or perhaps just thank some of those people that have made a difference in your life and really feel that sense of gratitude. We're going to go into our song now for healing. It's from a band called Westlife. It's called Flying Without Wings. And after the song, we'll first hear from Dominic, then Darren, and then myself for the address. So if you're all ready, you can keep your eyes open or close them, whatever you wish. And here is our healing song.
Wow, what a beautiful song to take us into such a special part of our Sunday gathering, the healing moment. What an incredible song. I got goosebumps just listening to it as I was composing my thoughts. So, what a great song, great song. But yes, St. Patrick's Day. Isn't it incredible that on such a day, lots of people across this world celebrate one special person? I think it's incredible as we look at the words that Sandra was telling us about St. Patrick. I wonder how many people have maybe forgotten what actual good St. Patrick done. I certainly didn't know half of what Sandra was telling us, so I was ever so glad to be listening to some wonderful things. But today, when I was waiting to come online, I was reading some things about St. Patrick, and one of the things that kept coming up was that it is celebrated. I think that's a very important word to hold on to today, is the celebration of who this individual was. Was he a man of God or was he a man of faith? Was he a man of God or was he a man that just had a faith of himself? Who knows? But isn't it incredible to think that the good work that he done, whether it be banishing snakes from Ireland, or whether it be healing the blind man, or bringing those two daughters back to life? I think there's something that we can all take from St. Patrick is that he selflessly gave himself to others, but he had his faith. He had his belief in his power, whether that was communing with the other world or helping to heal his world. He certainly went out his way to try to do his best. And I think damn right we should celebrate a man like that. And it's crazy because everywhere we go in the world, when it comes to St. Patrick's Day, there's always huge parades and celebrations. I know one year I was in New York and you could not move for the amount of people actually celebrating St. Patty's Day. And to see them all with their Guinness, and sometimes they would wear the leprechaun hat, or it was just incredible to see so many different people actually come together to have a celebration of what had happened way before. And it's interesting because you and I, and well, even your parents and maybe your grandparents, they were never around to really meet St. Patrick, were they? But the stories had continued, and the stories still continued to touch us to yet still celebrate this patron saint, which is absolutely incredible. I think there's something to be taken from celebrating each other. Let's be honest, maybe we cannot conduct the fabulous, miraculous miracles that he did, but I think it's important that we celebrate any little miracle that maybe we're able to do in life. Today, being here, hopefully, with the healing that we've just done and the mediumship that we will be able to do, hopefully that will be a little miracle for someone. Just because you feel that maybe you cannot heal someone's eyesight or someone's heart or cure someone's cancer, doesn't mean that you cannot try. We're looking for inspiration or people that maybe we've given gratitude to. And when I was sitting in the healing moment, I felt a huge urge to send healing to my little nephew, Rory. And last year, he went through a huge surgery. He was born with one leg shorter than the other. And he spent his sixth birthday in hospital needing to get this surgery all done. And not once did he ever complain. Not once did he say, "Why is this happening? Why do I need to have this surgery? Why am I not going to be able to go to school? Why am I missing my summer? Why am I in hospital for my birthday?" He just took it on the chin. And I thought, not once has he asked for help or has he cried out of pain. So he went through that for a whole year to then go to his surgeon to be told that the surgery didn't work and that he needs to go through it all over again, and that they would need to now take bone from his hip and then re-break his leg and then try to insert it. And then he has to get all casted from the toe all the way up to his hip, all the way down to his leg. And I just felt to myself, he is so strong, and anything that I go through, a headache or a little tummy bug, I moan and I groan. And I think, you know what? For a moment, I'm going to take a moment to send him the healing that he deserves. And Sandra said it. Every critter and everyone deserves a little bit of love and a little bit of healing. But he's inspired me because, like I said, he's not moaned or groaned. He's just got on with it. Now, am I looking for a miracle from St. Patrick? Well, hell yeah. Absolutely. If I can, then I would love my little nephew to not need to go through all of that. So I send out that thought. I send out that hope and I open my heart and I just say, if it be possible, then please. But am I expecting him to, have his leg grow perfect again and things to go miraculous? No, I'm not. But I'm going to have a little bit of faith that he will get the strength and the energy that he needs to pull him through the healing process that he needs to go through. So I'm going to celebrate him. I'm going to celebrate his strength the way that people today, all these years after, still celebrate St. Patrick. People get together as they have big parades, they go to halls and commune, and they all have beer and maybe some Guinness and good food. But good people, they come together to celebrate this. And I think it's very important that if we have an opportunity to remind people why we're celebrating such thing. Like I said, I didn't know any of the stories. I did a quick research, but there we go. All these things going from being born in Scotland. Maybe he's a distant uncle of mine. Who knows? I'll take that. But to see how he left Scotland, went over to Ireland, and, how he became who he is. And that's the incredible thing. He stayed true to himself, he stood in his power, and he had his faith. And I'm a true believer. If you don't have belief in yourself, then what do you have? Today, when I woke up, I was very impressed to message my friend Josephine, and I said to her, "Are you going to the spiritualist church today?" And she messaged back, and she says, "Funny enough, I wasn't going to go. However, the medium that was booked to take the service has fallen ill, so they have asked me to do it." She says, "But I don't feel great myself." She says, "I've got this tummy bug. So will you come and do it, Dominic?" So there was me lying in bed thinking I was going to have a nice, lazy morning. I had to jump up, shower, get ready, make my way to the church. And I wasn't prepared. I didn't know what my spiritual address was going to be. I didn't have nothing. But I stood up, and the moment I stood up, I knew I just had to talk about just being the best that we possibly can and just being human. None of this trying to be spiritual or trying to be holy or, trying to be some superhero, just trying to be human. And I think that's maybe what St. Patrick did himself, is he was just a decent human being that wanted to do his best for others. And I know I'm speaking to each and every one of you out there as well. You're not trying to be any saint, maybe even a sinner, but I know you're just trying to be the best version of yourself. And I think, if anything, celebrate yourself as well as you celebrate tomorrow for St. Patrick. And just remember, have a little faith, have a little belief, and trust the snakes will disappear, the water will stop gushing, and maybe one day the world will look a little bit brighter through your eyes. But, go out there and celebrate, because we are where we are today because of people, whether it be mythical or whether it be real. Who are we to say? But I think it's a damn good cause to have a good celebration, a good old knees up, a good yeehaw, and a good old Guinness. So, it is what it is, but just have a little faith, and let's see how it all goes. So hopefully that we all said that healing. I'm sure if I'm psychic enough and believe that the healing worked, I know that when Darren comes back on, his voice will still sound the same, but at least he knows that we've all sent him lots of healing. So, Darren, I will pass it over to you, my friend.
Thank you for that, Dominic. And yes, it does sound the same. You're a very good psychic. But no, thank you, Dominic and Sandra, for your words. And wow, all those things about St. Patrick. I knew quite a bit about him because I am half Irish, but I didn't know all the information that Sandra gave us in her story. So thank you for that, Sandra. Thank you for educating us. But when you look at St. Patrick and the impact he's had, not just in Ireland, but around the world, I believe the first St. Patrick's Day parades were actually in Boston many, many years ago. So it just shows the influence and impact this man has had, throughout history in the world. And then you start to look at why. Why did he have this impact? What was it about him? And I start relaying it and looking at people that I know within my life and people that's been around my life. And I started looking at the attributes these people have. What is it about people that makes us aspire to be like them, makes us follow them, makes us believe in something, makes us believe in ourselves? And I started looking at people, that have had these sort of impacts in my life. And I thought, when I look at the attributes they have, they're positive people, they're happy people, they're resilient. And one of the things that astounded me more than anything is, with a lot of these people that inspire us, they have tremendous patience. If you think, what's the one thing we all probably struggle with, and I'm sure you'd all agree, is patience. If you're anything like me, I really struggle with patience. But when you look at these people, let's look at St. Patrick, for example. He was sold into slavery for many years. Obviously, he was doing something he didn't want to do, didn't enjoy doing, but he still did it. And after that, he still went on to do the amazing things he did and get the following he did and inspire the world the way he did. And I thought, do you know what? You look at these people that's had the impact on our lives, and that must be one of the biggest attributes, is patience. But when you look at these people we aspire to or want to be like, the one word of caution I would say, always be yourself. Don't copy somebody 100%, Don't try and be a clone of that person. Try and be yourself, but obviously look at these people's attributes and try and have those attributes within yourself. And when you look at yourself, and even when we look at St. Patrick, and there's many people that do it, and I've done it before, we can become a victim, can't we? When you look at things that happen within our lives, it could be a work thing. You could be made redundant. You could have a bad day at work. You could have something happen. And it's very easy to say, oh, do you know what? I'm not good enough. Oh, I give up. Oh, I can't do this, whatever it may be. And we can become the victim. That doesn't help anyone. It doesn't help you. But when you look at these people like St. Patrick, he was a slave for a number of years. He could have become a victim as well. He could, oh, I've been a slave. I've had to do this. I've had to do that, whatever it may be. But he didn't. He stayed positive after it all. He was a person of influence, a person of change, and he could have been that victim. But you know what? He was resilient. He wasn't. He was positive. He brought about a change. He changed people. He made people, when Sandra told the story of the guy that would convert to Christianity if he did this task, he did that. And I'm not saying we've got to convert people to religion or anything like that, but that's the sort of influence and impact this person had. And why? Because he was positive. He had a belief. And I think that sometimes that's what we like. And I know I can speak from my own personal experience. I think sometimes we have to have a belief in ourselves. If others can have that belief in you, why can't you have that belief in yourself? And it's so easy, negativity is so easy to consume us, especially with what's going on in the world nowadays. And sometimes we need to ignore that negativity and keep reminding ourselves of these positive influential people within our own lives, and try and take on some of those characteristics, some of those attributes. One of the biggest ones being patience, because sometimes we have those goals, those dreams, those ambitions, whatever they may be, but you know what? They don't happen as quick as we want them to happen. They don't happen as easy as we want them to be. Sometimes we have to fight. And when I say fight, I don't mean a physical fight. There may be people that put us down. There may be people that don't have the faith in us. But you know what? As many people don't have faith in us, there's more people that do have faith in you. And it's about having that confidence and that positive mindset to get to where you need to be. So when you are feeling down and feeling the victim, have a look at those people around you, those positive people. There's two on my screen now. I'm looking at Sandra and Dominic. Even if I cast my mind to these people on days when I'm feeling down, straight away, Sandra's smiling, Dominic's happy and positive, and straight away you can't help but feel that positivity and that influence. So, ladies and gents, when you are feeling down, my voice is starting to go. When you are feeling down, just think of those positive people around you. Even these guys in the Sunday gathering, they give you the drive to go forward and the positive mind to go forward. So believe in yourself, like St. Patrick did, and everyone else does. Just believe in yourself. And that's the one thing I can say to you today, guys. And I'm going to hand you over to Sandra.
Oh, thanks so much, Darren. Thanks for your words too, guys. Thanks for all of the lovely messages everybody's typing in the chat box. For me, my dad was one of the most loving, patient guys I've known ever. And I trusted him. He's in the spirit world now, of course. But being here with us together on the Sunday gathering is because of him, because of how he passed and what happened and led me on the journey, so on and so forth. But my dad was filled with sayings. He would say things like, when the mind is weak, exercise the body. When the body's weak, exercise the mind. He'd say, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And of course, he got these from other people. These are not originals by John Champlain. But speaking of St. Patrick's Day, we always think of the luck of the Irish. And Dad would always say, The harder you work, the luckier you get. And I can hear him saying that in my mind. Those people in the world that we seem to think they get all the luck. Don't we all know these people? They get all the luck. Well, what you don't see is what they put into it behind the scenes. And speaking of behind the scenes, I am a full believer that if you want to call it God or the divine, they'll work with you, but not for you. I remember seeing Mike Dooley. Do you know who he is? He's got the tut.com website, and every day there's a message from the universe that come. Well, I got an opportunity in Boston to see him speak live. And he says, the movie The Secret came out years ago, and he was one of the people in The Secret. But he says The Secret was missing such a big thing. It's great to have the intention and see yourself having so much. But he says what's missing is the action. The harder you work, the luckier you get. We have to take action. He says, could you ever imagine programming in your GPS or sat nav an address and then you just sit there? No, you don't do that. You got to get moving. And then if you get off track, it has the opportunity to recalculate and get you back on track. But the key is we need to take that action. I am a full believer in the power of inspiration. And you might have felt this yourself, that there's opportunities that you're doing something and all of a sudden time just flies by. You feel like you're in the zone, really. You feel like you're being held up by invisible wings, maybe, or you don't know how you got from point A to point B so quickly and how easily. There's sometimes, and I'm sure Darren and Dominic can agree, that you're so inspired by the inner spirit, you can't remember what you even spoke about when you gave the address. But to each and every one of us, it landed like just the thing we needed to hear. So my message to you really is get busy. Get busy for all of us, not just you, for me too. Get busy and don't be surprised when all of a sudden things get a little easier or ideas seem to come out of the blue. And it could sound like your voice, it really could. Is it your loved ones? Is it the divine? Is it helpers in the unseen world? Who knows and who cares? Take it and run with it and go for it. They will work with you, but not for you. The harder you work, the luckier you get. And this never even dawned on me until I looked at my background. There's the pot of gold, right? And the rainbow. And the pot of gold seems to be right here where I am. So, no, I am not your pot of gold, sorry to say. But what if I'm my pot of gold? And what if you are your pot of gold? Rainbows are beautiful things, aren't they? Like butterflies, beautiful. But how did they get to be the way they are? Of course, butterflies, caterpillar suffered in the cocoon for a long time and had to break free into an unknown and stretch those big wings, being a completely different being than it started out being. How uncomfortable is that? What a transformation. But how beautiful is the butterfly? And we think of the rainbow, oh, so beautiful, but you need the rain. You need the storm. So if you're looking at the pot of gold behind me, I want you to consider you are your pot of gold. Each and every experience that you have, each moment of transformation, each tough time that you go through, you learn something and you get a gold coin to put in your pot. And what if the game of life is to collect as many gold coins or experiences as possible with as many different people and had different times of learning and loving and maybe getting your heart broken and failure and then new experiences. And then, like Darren spoke about, there's fun. I can think of many times between Dominic and Darren, just happy memories that put me a big smile on my face. So I want everybody to just consider that the harder you work, the luckier you get. Take some action in the steps of your dreams. You're never too old to have dreams. You're never too old to go for it. And that there really is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And you are that pot of gold, my friend. It's you with every experience, every moment, every good time or bad that you've shared. This past week, I interviewed Brian Smith, who will be airing on next week's episode of We Don't Die. And one of the things he shared was gems. And I thought, oh, pot of gold and gems. Let's put some of the gems in our pot. He explains it much better than me, but he says every day, just 4 basic things we can do. G, gratitude. What are a few things every day that you're grateful for? And they could be simple, like I have legs to stand, or I have fresh water, or a warm bed to sleep in. Exercise, even if it's a few minutes just to get outside or do something. Even play some music from when you were in high school and just dance for a little while, just something to get the body moving. M for mindfulness or meditation, that little something that you can do to just quiet the mind just for those few minutes. In S, being of service. I don't know about you, but when I get stuck in my own head with what's wrong with my life and what I need to get done, it gets very overwhelming. The moment it turns to service, being in service to someone else in some other way, all of a sudden things work out. In fact, fun things happen, like you saw the beginning of the Sunday gathering video. I get inspired to do silly things, but that's all in the eye of service. So, whatever it is that fills your pot of gold, I want you to realize that everything you've done and who you are today, you are that pot of gold. So, thank you for listening. We're going to turn now to our demonstration of mediumship. And this is an opportunity for our loved ones in the spirit world just to let us all know how close they are. Now, there will certainly be some members of our gathering today that will get readings by Dominic. However, I want everybody to listen in as to the loved ones that come through, that their words are just as important as the words that I share and Dominic shared and Darren shared. I call them panelists from the other side, because if you pay close enough attention, you realize just how close love is all the time to us. And sometimes, in fact, most of the time, some of those messages that come through, you think, oh, I could really use a little bit of that myself. Well, that's probably why the spirit folks chose them to come through today to bring these messages of love. So, whether this is your first time with us or you've been here before, just a few instructions about how this portion goes. Dominic will request from the spirit world those individuals that would like to work with him. They'll use everything he's got, his memories, his thoughts, his feelings. We'll put pictures in his mind, maybe scents in his nose and tastes on his tongue. We never know how they're going to work. He'll give a description of the person that has connected with him from the other side. He'll give a description. Now, we want everybody to be on their edge of your seat, really listening in. Is this my person? Your person could be a loved one, family member, could be somebody a little distant, maybe a friend, maybe somebody you worked with, maybe somebody you haven't thought of in a while. How they work sometimes is a complete miracle and mystery to me. But what I do know is they know exactly who's paying attention to our Sunday gathering today. Even if you're out for a walk and you got your phone in your pocket and you're just listening, they know you're with us. So if you can understand all the information that Dominic has shared about the person in the spirit world, and you say, I can understand that, that's my person, what we want you to do is press your raise hand button. Now, this is audience participation time to find on your computer, your iPad, or your phone, whatever device, where that raise hand button is and press it. If you're on an iPad or a phone, you might need to press the 3 little dots before you see it. Just press it. You can press it and depress it. It'll change from raise hand to lower hand. And why this is important is sometimes there's more than one person that can take all the information. Dominic will continue working so that ideally we're left with one hand up. So you'll need to know if you need to lower your hand. Now, we are gaining on 200 people here today. So we're going to ask that you understand all the information before you press your raise hand button, okay? If you are somebody who works with Dominic or any medium in the future, whether it's in a gallery, whether it's on Zoom, whether it's a private reading, my request is that you let the medium do the work. Really, you want to know that they are connecting with your loved one and that you didn't volunteer the information. So the best thing to do is simply just say yes, no, or I don't know to the information that they give. That's it. Yes, no, or I don't know. And if something doesn't fit, say no. Be honest with us. It's okay. All right. So just yes, no, or I don't know. And everybody else, listen in, pull the information towards you as if They are panelists on the other side. We always like to play a feel-good piece of music before we do our demonstration. Darren's picked another great song. It'll put a little pep in your step. And if you want to just imagine your loved ones close by, maybe doing a little jig, who knows? You can do that. They are close to you, not just on Sundays for the gathering, but they easily are with us so many times in our life. So here's our song, and then we'll be back with Dominic for our medium demonstration, St. Patrick's Day style. Just the way I am, just the way Darren is, and just the way Dominic is, and just the way you are. Hello again,
Isn't that
Dominic.
an incredible little song? I was like tapping away there, like, yeah, it's just I felt I was at the pub with them. But we're here, we're here. So let's get moving and let's invite our loved ones forward. So I know I've got a lovely gentleman stepping forward here from the spirit world, and the moment I connect with this man, I know connecting with his work, he was either an accountant or a bookkeeper. I know that he would have worked with, figures and numbers and accounts and money, because I keep seeing memories of being at my desk and looking through all my paperwork, keeping everything in check, checking on the calculator and the old receipts that keeps rambling up with him. I know he goes to the spirit world quick, so I feel there may have been issues with a heart attack or issues with his heart. I don't feel he was ill. I feel this would have been unexpected, is certainly what I feel with this man.
Thank you. If you can understand all that information, press your raise hand button for us, please. Dominic, we have Nancy W. with her hand raised. Nancy,
Wonderful.
you should see an unmute button pop up on your screen. Oh, we have some more hands that have just gone up. Elaine and Emily also. We've got the three ladies.
I feel this would be dad. I feel this would be someone's father that I'm connecting with.
Let's check with Nancy. You're unmuted. Can you understand that as dad, Nancy?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Nancy, just very quickly, do you understand any connections to the name Frank or Francis?
Yes.
Okay, just checking, because that was a name that I kept hearing that may have connected. And would I be correct to say that Dad's passing would have been quick?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And you understand the accounting or the working with the figures and the bookkeeping?
Yeah, that's exactly what he did.
Perfect. And I hope you don't mind me saying this. This does feel right, Sandra, to be fair. I'm going to stick with this. I feel very much in some way, I don't want to say he was stubborn, but I almost feel like he was a perfectionist that even if 1 cent or $1 was out, he would go back, he would do it all over again. He was so particular in making sure his work was done correct. Is that true?
That's
Yeah.
exactly true.
Because I feel like in this office or where he worked, he would have his folders, his paperwork, but I get the impression that he was so respected, not just by family, but by his peers, his colleagues, by work, that it showed through his hard work. His hard work paid off for him, is what he tells me, because he says he had a good life. He worked hard, but he played hard as well, correct?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
because
very
I
correct.
feel as he connects here with me, there must have been elements of working hard and making sure that he got all his things filed and, put away. But then he made sure he had time for vacation with your mom or with the family. It's like he made sure he had his vacations, he made sure he had his trips, but he made sure the work was done first.
Yes. Yeah. We had a cottage and we went there all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like, get the job done, then we can have fun. If we can't have fun till the job's done. But did that also work or do accounts for other people or other people in the family or friends or something? I don't feel he just done it for him. I feel he, helped other people if they needed.
He did. Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
because I feel there's elements of, you know, he's not ignorant, he's not selfish, he'll do his thing, but then if people needed some help, if he could, he will also help out or do what he could for them as well, is what he makes me feel. He keeps acknowledging to me that he's been around a lot just now, so I know that in some way he's aware that we have a little concern going on or we're kind of anxious or worried at the moment, and he wants you to know that everything's going to come together the way it's meant to be. don't worry, don't overstress it. You heard Sandra say about her father had ways of saying things and his own little sayings, but I feel your dad could be like that as well, if I can say that to you.
Yes, very
Yeah.
much so.
Now, if I can just ask you, just as we push this just a little bit more, would there be anything to do with someone still in the family that would have either a business card or a card with your father's credentials on it?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
because it keeps making me feel the little things, the sentimental things, but I also know that I want to acknowledge as I connect here with them as well, either an old briefcase or an old file case that maybe still has some paperwork and things in it as well.
That's all me that has that.
Yeah, because he's looking and he says, Sweetie, you don't need to hold on just for the hell of it. He says, they're no use, they're no use. But I feel it's a sentimental, it's a value of what maybe it is. Who's Bill?
Oh, his dad was William.
Perfect, because I know that he's letting you know he's with Bill. Let everyone know he's with Bill. Now, I don't know
Oh,
if your dad did silly things or if he did things just as a sentimental thing, but like if someone comes out of school or gets their first job or opens their first bank account, did he like give them like a $10 bill or anything and say, keep that in your pocket or, always, I feel like a sentimental tradition that he would always give to everyone.
um, in several ways with several things, yes.
Okay, because I just feel like just a Kickstarter, getting you started. I give you this or use this, get this, do this. Is certainly what I feel here, and he just keeps acknowledging to me that he tried his best to install to his family if you work hard, you will make good money. If you make good money, you could have a good life. If you have a good life, then it's a good life to live. And I feel he's just acknowledging about taking care and taking precaution when it comes to finances and figures and looking after the bills. I'm asking you a question, but I'm hopefully going to answer it for you. Have you yourself been looking through your accounts and your figures, or have you been looking through mum's or anything? Are you looking through anyone else's accounts and trying to get finances and social security or anything under control with anyone?
Um, not trying to get it under control, but yes, looking through.
Okay, because I just feel in some way he's just looking over your shoulder as well and just seeing you looking back over things and just making sure that everything's in order, if we can say that.
He was so much like that, exactly as you described. When it came to
Because I just feel
numbers, yes.
still looking over and just trying to make sure everything's coming together. So please take comfort knowing that he's with Frank, he's with his dad, William, and that they've come together just to give you that reassurance. But one thing I will say is just learn to dance in the rain. Don't try to hide from the storm.
Thank you so very
You're
much. This
very
is so,
welcome.
so touching. Thank you.
Nancy, thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm very much aware of a younger male that steps forward here just now, and his passing um, really threw me there, the way that I connected with him. I felt a great sense of excitement. I felt a great sense of like energy and a good adrenaline, but I almost feel as if there was a feeling of falling or coming down from height in some way. I really don't know what I'm experiencing, so I want to be honest, but I know that in some ways I go to the spirit world unexpectedly. I know there's a great sense of either a fall or this feeling of going down. He does keep making me feel very much. I almost just get the great sense of him of being friend. I don't necessarily feel I'm family as I'm connected with him. I feel I could be friend as I'm connecting here. I feel he was a big dreamer, big adventurous. I feel he was always doing things, going here, doing this, trying this. He just comes across as if he did have no fear whatsoever in some ways, what I need to say. And I feel as I connect here with him, he may have passed in his 30s. But as most of you will know, I'm not very good with age, but I feel he may have passed in his 30s as I'm connected. But I just feel this feeling of like falling or going down in some way, which is very, very bizarre.
Thank you very much. If you can understand this information, please raise your hand. Dominic, we have five ladies with their hands raised.
5, wonderful. Let me see if I can get a little bit more with him. I keep getting this B names. I feel there's maybe like a Brendan or Brandon or um, B keeps coming up at the moment here with him. I want to make sure that I'm connecting with someone who understands this feeling of extreme falling or this coming from height is what I feel here. And again, I feel I'm friend. I don't necessarily feel I'm in the family per se, but I could be wrong. But I want to connect with this feeling of the fall in some way.
All right, thank you very much. We still have Julia, Dana, and Jennifer and Jane with their hands raised, and we're asking you take everything, including the B name, ladies. If not, please press your lower hand button. Okay, hands went down except for Jane. So
Ooh.
let's bring in Jane. Everyone else, keep on listening. Jane, if you could press your unmute button,
Oh,
please.
hi. I'm sorry. I was going to lower my hand. I understand everything but the B name, so I was trying to lower my hand. Sorry.
Oh, crumbs.
And
But
that's the case, I think, with everyone. They lowered their hand as
yeah,
well,
yeah,
with the B name, maybe.
I'm not sure, but it is a friend. So
Would you understand, sweetie, the feeling of where I get the feeling of the fall or coming from height?
yeah, it was a a big height. Yes.
Okay, as long as you get that, because that's what really threw me when I first connected with him. And can I say to you, if I am working with you, which we'll see, would you understand if I was to say to you that he could light up a room, like he had a laugh that was contagious, he had a charm that everyone wanted to be around? I feel like he's got this big energy, this big personality that
Yes.
just
I
everybody
believe.
warmed to.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, yeah. And would I be correct to saying if I could be right with this, but would you know if he maybe traveled around or was backpacking or on the move a lot before passing?
It. I believe so. To be honest, this is my friend's son, but I
Uh-huh.
know of him through her. And
Okay. Because I know I wasn't family. I felt I was more like
yes,
connected
correct.
through friend or something is what I would say here. I keep seeing this S name being placed up in my mind as well. So I'm just going to surrender. Maybe there's a Scott or Stuart or something that maybe he also connects to as well here. He does give me the impression of wanting to acknowledge a great sense of I should still be here. I know I should still be here, and I'm sorry I'm not still here. Is what I feel. I know that as he connects with me a little bit more, he had so much big dreams, so much inspiration,
Yes.
aspiration, and I
Yes.
feel like either I was planning on starting a new job or a new schooling or something. There's something
Yes,
that I feel was an
I believe
excitement
so. Exactly
that
that.
he feels was coming up as well here,
Mhm.
sweetie. This may sound bizarre, but to your knowledge and just how much you remember or know of him, was he always in short pants?
I'm not sure.
Not sure, because I feel like I want to be wearing like short pants rather than long trousers or denims. I feel like short pants, and maybe like a jersey or hoodie. But I feel the reason why he's showing me this is because he feels like his mum, particularly, still has pieces of his clothing that have actually been left where they are, if I can say that's maybe still in a drawer or still in a closet. Is what he's bringing to my attention here. Um,
Yes, I know she has his things. Mhm.
I feel he's acknowledging as well this feeling of where he passes and the situation of his passing being very difficult for many people to comprehend, which of course that's understandable. But I know his mum has been left questioning or wondering, did he suffer? Did he experience? Did he go through? And he makes me feel it's important for his family to know and for his friends to know that it was only a moment. It was only a moment. He didn't suffer. So I feel that that could hopefully let his mum find in some strange way a little sense of peace, if we can just say that to a degree here. Um, I do feel as he connects here with me as well, he's showing me where there's been this memorial or this tribute that has been created for him through family and friends as
Yes,
well, if I can
yes,
say this too, because it makes me feel that people still bring things, people hang things on trees, people place candles and figurines or ornaments, whatever you want to say, and he loves this tribute that has been done for him, is what he makes me feel here. I don't think you will know this, so you may need to research for me or ask, but I feel someone's written his name almost like graffiti, if you know what I mean. So maybe in a beautiful art decor rather than just, writing. But I feel he's acknowledging where someone has painted or spray painted his name, is what he shows me here. And he loves the fact that people can still go to different places to feel him. And I feel that that's very important to be able to feel him. And I feel that his mum has maybe mentioned to you that she's not felt him or not been feeling him as much. And he wants to reassure her that's because he's never truly left her. Okay,
Yes.
that's because he's never truly left her, is exactly what I want to say. I could be off with this, but let me just double check. To your knowledge, do you know if he passes near water?
No. Well, no, no.
No,
He
okay, give
wasn't
me one
outside.
second.
No.
I almost felt as if I was connected. If not, then do you know if the family have any connections to Miami?
Um, they may. I'm not sure.
Okay, because I'm seeing almost like I feel as if I'm near a beach, but then I can see like skyscrapers or high buildings, hotels, etc. So I know I'm not quite in a city, but I feel I'm near the ocean or near water,
Mhm.
and I keep feeling like Miami for some reason. So take that how you would. Maybe he's then showing me a memory. I'm not too sure. But that's the impression that I get is the most important thing is for him to reconnect to his mum to say she doesn't feel me because I've not actually left her. So if you see fit to let her know that, I would be very, very grateful. And
Oh, I certainly will. Thank you so much.
yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you, Jane,
Yeah,
for being able to pass
his
that on.
passing anniversary date was just a week ago. So thank you. I'll let her
Okay,
know.
well, fabulous. Thank you very much. Okay, let's keep going. Come on then, what have we got here? So I'm very much aware of mum stepping forward from the spirit world, and this is interesting because this lady feels relatively young, is sort of what I want to say here. So I know that she passes to the spirit world relatively young, so I know that she passes young. You yourself, as her child, would have been very young as well. So I feel maybe in your early teens, maybe as mum passes to the spirit world, but I get the impression as I connect here with her as well, there's a feeling of unexpectedness or a feeling of not getting to say goodbye to mum, and I almost get the impression of feeling. I don't know if there's a Tina or Christine that may connect to this, but I keep getting this name that's popping in just at the moment here. But it's very, very interesting because I almost get the impression of feeling like it's almost like I feel sudden like she was taken from us in a sense. So I feel she was here, perfectly fine, perfectly well, and then has passed as the easiest way that I could describe here. I'm not seeing too much. I don't want to create, but I'm just going to pause for a moment to see what else I can feel with her. I also feel like a Lizzie or Elizabeth or a Beth connection in some way as well is what I need to acknowledge. I'm tempted to say there's something not right with my head. So I don't know if there's been a head trauma or an aneurysm, but I feel there's something that doesn't quite feel right with the head with this beautiful lady as well.
Thank you very much. All right, friends, who understands this lovely lady, if you could go ahead and press your raise hand button. If you're feeling that little tug on your soul that this could be for you. All right, we have Jeanette with her hand raised. Jeanette, if you could press your unmute button. Hi, Jeanette.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Jeanette.
Would it be stepmother?
If you can understand it that way, sweetie, but would you understand
Yes.
everything else that I have said?
Yes.
Okay, and you understand where I get the feeling of the unexpected passing?
Yes.
And her passing, for me,
Stroke.
feels like she was young.
Yes, she was only 31. Stroke.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, because I just get the impression of feeling like she was here and then gone. She was here and then gone. And I mean
Yes.
this politely, but as you say stepmom, I almost feel like I want to say I may be stepmom, but I'm still trying to be mum to you. So I feel there's a love there, is what she permeates or what she brings forward is the easiest way that I could say. So I know that I want to acknowledge still being a part of your life or still being connected with you. Do you understand the Christine, the Chrissy, the Tina?
I understand Tina, yeah.
You know, and what about the Beth or the Liz, Elizabeth?
Yes, I understand that too.
Perfect.
Betty.
Because I know she's Betty, that'll do me. Because I know that I want to talk about being in the spirit world, like being with so many people that she has mothered and that she has looked after going to the spirit world relatively young. She's been able to have that energy and that love and look out for people, is the easiest way that I could say. Was she high energy? Like, was she always doing things, always cleaning, always on the
Yes,
go? Because that's what I feel with her, like always doing, always doing, always on the go. And I feel in some way she's acknowledging to me, by no means was she ready to go. By no means was she planning a departure. She should still have been around, she says, but it is what it is. And, you know, to make omelets, we have to crack eggs. We have to just deal with what we go through, is what she's telling me to say here. Strange thing that I'm about to say, but do you know if she had any affinity or love for birds at all?
she was an animal lover.
Okay, because I feel like I want to talk about let everyone know I'm still looking after the birds, I'm still around the birds, and I want to talk about like a hummingbird feeder and putting some feeders out for birds or whatever.
Well,
And I actually get the impression she may do that with you.
no, we had canaries though.
Canaries, okay, because she just keeps saying, let everyone know I'm around. I'm still with the birds. I'm with the birds. But I felt you physically here, maybe doing things with birds just now as well. So maybe she
Yes,
sees things or whatever, but that's where I get like the feeder for wild birds, not necessarily canaries, is what I need to say here. Um,
I feed the birds.
Perfect, wonderful. That's okay. That's good. And may I just ask you as well, connecting to your father, did he have any heart issues or chest issues?
Yeah, he passed on for asbestosis
Okay,
in his
because I
lungs.
know that Dad connecting with me brings to my attention of issues with the chest or issues with the respiratory, if I can say this, sweetie. I don't feel he was a positive man towards the end. And I know that sounds harsh, but I almost feel like maybe becoming a little bit grumpy or grouchy or, you know, just deflated and had enough is the impression that I keep getting with him, is what I want to say here. So it's almost like I feel he didn't want so many faces on him or so many eyes watching over him, is what I feel with him. Um,
I could take that. Yes.
It's almost like I feel from one extreme to another changes is the easiest way I can say it. I keep wanting to say like Richard or Dick as well, if I can just say that, because I keep hearing this being mentioned in the spirit world. If I could say to you without being rude, this is coming from both your stepmom and your dad. It was a relief for both our side of life and for Dad when he passed to the spirit world. Would you agree with
Okay.
that?
Yes.
Yeah, because I know that I want to say at least you wouldn't need to worry about him or see him suffering or see him going through what he was going through anymore. Do you know if at any point if your dad ever worked with any steel or metal works at all at any point?
He might have, because my father was like a jack of all trades.
Oh, okay. Because I just feel like I want to talk about, you know, like we were saying earlier, work hard, get the job done. I feel he has
Hmm.
that kind of attitude or nature as well. Get in, get the job done, do this, do this. But he is apologizing for the way that maybe his behavior or his moods started to affect people towards the end. And I just feel in his way, be happy for him that he's no longer suffering or being miserable. He says, I'm happy where I am now. I'm with my people. And he just keeps making me feel he's got his smile. He's got his whistle. He's got his little whistle back as well, sweetie. So if Dad was a little bit difficult, you know, towards the end, just know that he was just not able to keep that fight up, is certainly what it makes me feel. But I know he's
Thank you.
reconnected with this beautiful lady as well, and they're perfectly well, perfectly happy. And again, I just know that as much as she's maybe stepmom, she's still trying to love you and look out for you from the spirit world as well, sweetie.
Thank you very much. Right now, I'm talking to you from
You're
the
welcome.
hospital. I'm in the hospital.
Okay. Well, just know that they're there looking after you. So what better way and what better time to hear from them?
Right. Thank you so much.
You keep your strength up and keep positive, sweetie, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. So I'm also very much aware of another gentleman stepping forward here just now, and I am absolutely terrible with military and things to do with the army or whatever. But I know that this man would have spent time as a major or as a sergeant. Within the army here, I do feel as he's connecting here with me as well. He would be Dad, but I know you also have a brother in the spirit world as well. But I know as I connect with your dad, he makes me feel that there would have been times where he would have there would have been times where he was gone. I don't necessarily feel he would have been in combat, but times he was gone, then he would come back, then he would be gone, then he would come back. And I do get the whole impression as he's connecting here with me, he would have been merited or awarded or given a distinction in some way for service, for his dedication, for his volunteering, even after he came out of service. So there's something that Dad does after his service. I don't know if he was connected to like a veterans group or something, but I know that he had his service and then continued to serve in a voluntary way or in a different capacity, which sounds really crazy, to be honest. I don't know what I mean. And I want to make a connection to the name Joe or Joseph as I'm connecting as I listen as well here. So I do have to say that. And I keep getting this T connection. So it's either like a Thomas or Tom, and that may have also be connected with Dad and brother.
Thank you very much. All right, friends, who understands this information, go ahead and press your raise hand button for us, please. And we'll wait ever so patiently.
I feel Dad may have had cancer. I could be wrong, but I keep wanting to make an influence of something to do with cancer here for some reason.
All right, now Jeanette has her hand raised again, and also Joseph. Oh, and Tina. All right, now lots
Let's
of
check
hands
with
have been
Joseph
raised.
because that was part of the
Let's
evidence.
go
So
to
let's check with
Joseph.
Joseph.
Everyone
Okay,
keep
great.
listening. Joseph, if you could press your unmute button, please. He's looking. He's looking. Hi there.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
there we go. Hey, Joseph.
Hi, how are you today?
Very well, very well. Thank you so much. So you understand this with Dad?
Yes.
And you understand, and I know this may sound very bizarre, but there must be something to do with his service and then continuing service as maybe he comes out of the service, volunteering, do something else. Is there something that Dad continued to do?
I wasn't aware of it, but I was told about it.
Okay, that's good. And you understand where I feel there's this distinction or this merit or this credit that he had been given as well.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Could you repeat that again, please?
I feel like Dad would have been given like credit or merit or distinction for his work.
For
I
some,
feel he was honored. That's the way I want to say, actually. He was honored for something for what he was doing.
there were accommodations for his service.
Perfect. That's maybe the best word. So my apologies. I don't know the best words to use, but accommodation, we can go with that. And also we have a brother in spirit.
Yes.
Yes,
Well,
perfect.
not my brother, but his brother.
Okay, my apologies, but I know that I want to acknowledge him standing with brother. That's what I kept feeling here. Would I also be correct to say that there would be something to do with either your dad moving away or you moving away? Where would I get the feeling of being in different places?
No. In fact, we were very close. I was his caregiver.
No, I get the impression there's something to do with... Do you know then with his service if he went to different places or was in different ports or anything to your knowledge?
I am not aware of that.
No, because I see movement, a lot of movement around of not necessarily always being at where he called home in some way. So I feel through time there must have been something to do with he's moved or where he left family, brothers, sisters, etc., and then maybe came back. So just bear that thought in mind of where I feel there's an absence, then come back is the easiest way that I could describe here. Towards the end, did Dad struggle to hold conversation or clear his throat or anything?
Um, he could talk okay, but he did have issues with his throat.
Because I feel very, and my swallowing doesn't feel 100%, but I need to acknowledge this feeling with him. This may sound weird as well, but let me just go with this. Do you know if there was anything to do with either your dad or a brother or anything that had a collection of like antique guns or antiques at all?
No, not antiques, but
Because I want to talk about things like muskets and bayonets and things.
no, none of that.
Interesting. And did you connect to the name Thomas?
He had a close friend named Thomas.
Okay. Well, I need you to then hold that thought for me, and just bear in mind that I want to talk about who had these, what I would only consider collections or antiques with the old style guns is what I want to talk about here. Because I'm getting it really clear that I also want to acknowledge like corneal stuff and things like this. So ask around for that if you would, and see how that places for me if you don't mind. But with your father, I do get a great sense of the way that either you cared for him, the way that you supported him, the way that you nourished him, I feel was second to none. Okay, and I get a great sense of the most important thing that you tried to do for Dad was ensure that his pride and his dignity was still with him as he transfers to the spirit world. Would you agree with that?
100%.
Yeah, because I know that I want to acknowledge perhaps I could not have done it without you, son. Perhaps I could not have done it without you. And I just get a great sense of admiration and a great sense of appreciating you taking that time to make sure that he was okay. And in between you caring for him, there was some moments of life or maybe your own well-being that maybe you slightly neglected to ensure that he was okay. And he's very appreciative for doing that. Very appreciative. At any point, did we ever have a dog that was Cooper or Chopper or anything like this at all?
No,
No, okay, because I keep getting this influence of a dog now as well. Joseph, sincerely, thank you very, very much for allowing me to chat with you. I feel your dad wants to give you that salute and that knowledge of now time for you to soldier on and look after you and be your own hero now as well, because your dad's perfectly fine. And I feel it's important for you to know that your service and your job of looking after and loving your father has been done. So well done to you.
thank you, Dominic.
You're very welcome, Joseph. Thank you so much for allowing me to share that moment with you. Sandra, how are we doing? One more? Are
Up
we
to
finished?
you if you want to do one more.
Okay, let me see what we've got. Perfect.
All right.
Okay, so I'm very much aware of a female stepping forward here just now, and I feel in my late 60s as she's coming forward. I feel she would be sister as she's connecting here with me as well. I also feel as I connect here with her, there would have been a journey of cancer with this lovely lady. I do feel as she's coming forward as well. I want to acknowledge about sisters being there and looking after me and keeping me going and supporting me is what I feel here. I feel there may be a Teresa or a Tricia, like a TR name that she's bringing to my attention here as well. It's interesting because the moment that I connected with her, I felt she spent time caring or looking after others. So I'm interested to know if maybe she connected to working in a hospital or working in care in her own career, because I know that she would have been the one looking after others and being the one looking and supporting others is certainly what I need to say here. For some reason, I feel as if I'm on the East Coast, and I could be wrong with that, but I feel as if I could be connecting on the East Coast with this lovely lady as well.
Thank you very much. All right, friends, who understands this lovely lady? Press your raise hand button, please.
It's interesting because all I keep wanting to talk about is going for ice cream, which sounds so crazy. So I know that we would have good memories of even when maybe she was sick, trying to take her for ice cream, or taking her out to get a Ben and Jerry's or something. But I keep wanting to talk about ice cream, which is a guilty pleasure I feel of hers.
Thank you. Who understands this? I was getting that little nudge that this could be for you. Raise your hand, please. No hands up yet.
Oh,
My
crumbs,
friend.
crumbs, crumbs.
Oh, wait. Every time I say that, a hand goes up. We have Bonnie with her hand raised. Bonnie, if you could press your unmute button, please. Hi, Bonnie.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hey, Bonnie.
Thank you.
Just
Hello.
very quickly tell me, sweetie, what you can understand.
My mother's name was Patricia, not my sister.
Yep.
Mother's name was Patricia. She took care of a family member that
Yep.
had a brain injury before I was born.
So she was always in a role of caring for others,
Yes.
would you say?
And
Okay.
she stayed home. She really didn't work. She raised me and my brother. So,
Okay, sweetie.
yeah.
And would you understand why I get this thing of like wanting to talk about the guilty pleasure or going for the ice cream, the memories of the ice cream?
We used to go for ice cream quite a bit after like all my dance recitals. We would go for ice cream, or we get in the
Because I feel
car
like
and
I
go
want
for
to
ice
say
cream.
that this should be memories we had or good times,
Yes.
like even when your brother's not there, like I would swing by and get some ice cream, but don't
Yeah.
tell. Like I feel like she would make it your treat is the easiest way that I could describe in some way.
Yeah.
Um, I did get the impression as well as I connect here with her, an element of I was determined to beat the cancer, or I was determined to fight the cancer. Like I feel there was a great determination with mum.
So she didn't die of the cancer of a cancer, but when I was 5 years old, she had bone cancer and went through surgeries and
Okay.
yeah.
Because that's what I feel, the determination. Like she wasn't the
Yeah.
type of girl that would just sit down and let it, she just kept saying to me, I was determined to beat that cancer. I was fighting
Yes.
with that cancer is what I want to acknowledge here. Any this sounds weird what I'm about to say, but we're going to go with it. Do you still have like jewels or pearls or any like necklaces belonging to your mom that would be perhaps more
Yeah.
costumed jewelry?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Perfect. Because I feel like she's acknowledging and watching over, but you also would have grandchildren yourself.
I have one new grandbaby.
Perfect. Because she just keeps acknowledging to me about, the jewels and the pearls of life come with the new life that comes. So I feel she's acknowledging the children coming and how special that has been because she's acknowledging the family needed some good, needed some healing. And I feel in the arms of you is this now new beautiful baby. And she just keeps making me feel it's a great sense of how wonderful to see the gems of the family still growing is what I
Yes.
want to say here.
Yes.
Um, she's acknowledging that um, life wasn't always an easy life, she says, but when you have a family that loves you, looks after you the way that we do, she says, it's worth the fight. It's worth getting through it. And I feel without opening up too privately, that should maybe strike a chord for you of keep fighting. Keep fighting because the family around you are, looking out for you or keeping you going is the easiest way that I could say to you. Bizarre what I'm about to say, but did your mum have her own wicked recipe for coleslaw or slaw?
Uh, yes, I think she did. She had quite a
Okay.
few of her own recipes.
It's a bit
Yeah.
strange, but I kind of want to talk about like her recipes and her bits and pieces, and I feel like she would maybe add her own little twist to it. So like maybe spicing pumpkin soup up, or spicing this or doing this or whatever. And I just feel she's acknowledging that you've been going through a journey of rediscovering nutrition, rediscovering foods, or rediscovering diet. There's something going on with food with you.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Mhm. Yes.
What she's saying to me is there's always an opportunity for ice cream wherever you go, she says, and maybe the next time you're feeling down or missing me, get a scoop for me. Get a scoop for me. And I almost want to say like
Oh yeah.
strawberry short crust or something that she would maybe
Strawberry
enjoy.
shortcake. Yes.
Perfect, perfect. So maybe that one for her. I think I've
Yes.
definitely finished, but is there any L names like Linda or Lou or anything?
Is there any what?
Like an L name like Linda, Louis, Louise, Lou, Lil? Didn't have a
Gwendolyn
sister that had an
or
L.
sister? No.
No, that's
No.
okay. I think it could be finished, really. I don't want you having family
Okay.
that's not for you because that
Yeah.
ice cream bill will get expensive then. But sincerely, please know that your mum kissed this beautiful angel before you did. So just know that the family are being blessed with this beautiful baby, and she's very excited to see you being a grandma.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome, Bonnie. Thank you so much. Miss Sandra, I will pass it back to you. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
thank you so much, Dominic. Thank you. It's always so lovely. And if you ever say, is there time for one more? I will always say yes. Folks, you can visit Dominic's website, dominicboag.com. Just a lovely, lovely man, as you know. He'll be back with us next Sunday as well. His book is called The Voice of Spirit, The Boy Next Door with the Incredible Gift. It's a great read. Absolutely, it is. You can join Dominic Darren live with our friends Scott Milligan, Josephine, and friends in Orlando in June for a wonderful afterlife event. Just wonderful. Also, they'll be in Scotland in September and in the Netherlands in November. So you can find out about all of those. Just go to wedon'tdie.com. You can actually find those listed at the top of the Scott Milligan page. Now, today, in about a half hour's time, we're going to have the wonderful researcher Sonia Rinaldi doing a presentation about her latest work and her latest experiments, images. She gets some audios, voices from the afterlife. If you've never seen Sonia, there's nothing like her. She's somebody who's been working just out of the kindness of her heart with parents for over 30 years, starting with getting their voices on recorders and then moving into images. It will give you goosebumps. We're asking for a $15 donation to go to her work. She's never asked for money, but I do think it helps. It really does. Everyone who joins us, there'll be a raffle. In fact, I've been busy. I got raffle tickets here. Each one of your names goes in this, and at the end of our time together, we're going to pull one name for somebody to work one-on-one with Sonia. And you can't book a session one-on-one with Sonia because she does it all just through research. So anyways, that's coming up. I'll put the link in the chat box in a second, but also you can go to the store page at wedon'tdie.com to find out more. Lots of good things coming up. I'll tell you more about them next week, but you can see them all at the store page of wedon'tdie.com. We've got our trance and medium classes, grief cafe, etc. And I want to do a shout out to our friends who have donated to make our Sunday gathering possible. I just thank you. If you're somebody who's interested in adding $1 or $2 to our virtual collection plate, it helps. It's very expensive to run Zoom and all the computer stuff behind the scenes. No pressure to do so, but those of you who have donated, we really want to thank you for that. Yeah, Sunday gathering page. You can watch past Sunday gatherings, register for upcoming Sunday gatherings. My podcast episodes are there at wedon'tdie.com. If you're not already a member of our community, you don't get the emails yet, and you would like to, if you enter your name and email address at the bottom of the page at wedon'tdie.com, it says you get the first few chapters of my book. The secret is it's the entire book. And there's some other great bonuses that I give you that are just surprises. Chapter 10 of the book is how to survive grief, and grief is the most, well, it's the worst thing ever. And anything we can do to give you tools, we want to do that. So even if your loved one didn't come through today, and I know everybody has that hope and prayer that they do, please know they're working behind the scenes with the energy to help others come through. They're still very much part of your life. Just keep talking to them, okay? That they hear you, and you might get thoughts out of the blue of something you've done together. Those are just those little calling cards that they're still around. So I'm going to pass it over to Darren for a few words of the week, and then we'll go over to Dominic for our closing prayer.
Hello again, everyone. When we look at St. Patrick's Day, obviously it's a celebration of St. Patrick himself. But in modern days, it's turned into a celebration of the Irish culture as well. You know, the Irish are very proud of their culture and their history, etc. So what I was going to say to you guys, when you are having that drink, whether it be a tea, a coffee or a Guinness, whatever your choice of tipple is, and you're raising a glass, raise it for your culture, your life. You know, let's start looking at ourselves and being thankful for what we have. Sometimes we sit there and we think we're not, you know, we're always wishing for more, wishing for better. But sometimes I think we fail to neglect what we actually do have. And I know Sandra mentioned it in her talk. You know, we have a roof over our head. We have family, friends around us. You know, we have our health. We have all these things that we take for granted, I think. So when you do raise that glass, even if you don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day, still raise that glass for yourself, for your own little culture and your own little life, because it's just as wonderful as celebrating St. Patrick's Day. And I'm going to hand you over to Dominic for our closing prayer.
Thank you, Darren, and thank you for bearing with us with your voice. We will continue to send you healing, I'm sure. So friends, let's take a moment of contemplation and give thanks. Divine Spirit, Father God, we graciously thank you for allowing us to come together to commune as one, to come together and allow us to hear from our loved ones, for allowing us to know that life truly is eternal, but also for allowing us to know that love itself can never die. We thank you for the healing that has been raised here this evening. And we thank you for giving us a moment of contemplation. We also ask that the healing be sent out to the world, to the animal kingdom, but also to us here today and our friends and our families who are in our hearts. We also thank St. Patrick for giving us the inspiration and giving us the celebration of his life. And we ask that he inspires us as we move forward and helps us find gratitude in every small aspect of life that we possibly can. And all this we say in your name, which is love. Amen.
Thank you very much, Dominic, and thank you, Darren. As we go into our closing song, it's a very peppy tune that Darren has picked. Speaking of the luck of the Irish, Eilish McBride sings, well, you'll hear the lyrics, our own Las Vegas and the hills of Donegal. It brought a smile to my face, and I know you'll enjoy hearing it. Here is our closing video, friends. I love that song. Never heard it before. And Colette lives there in Donegal. Well, everyone, hopefully we'll see you next Sunday on the Sunday gathering. Three Amigos will be back again, sending Darren lots of healing prayers for this week. And for anyone who wants to join us, 25 minutes we'll be together with Sonia Rinaldi. All right. Love to all. Thank you again, Darren and Dominic. Bye. And happy St. Patrick's Day.